do apologize for that delay. Let me acknowledge His Excellency, Dr. Didacus Jules, Director General of the OECS, Mrs. Cicera Simon, Director, Human and Social Division, acting, Dr. Merit Newman of the Commonwealth of Learning, Permanent Secretaries in the Ministry of Education, including Dr. Marsha Porter of the British Virgin Islands, Miss Lisa Pistana of St. Kitts and Nevis, Miss Mike Lee Burke of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Mrs. K. Martin Jack, Chief Education Officer, Ministry of Education and National Reconciliation, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Mr. Francil Morris, the Chief Education Officer, Ministry of Education, St. Kitts and Nevis, Mrs. Beverly Dudon, Deputy Chief Education Officer, St. Lucia, as well as Mr. Rafer Gordon, the Project Manager, OECS Pearl, OECS Commission, Mr. Nadet Langford, Senior Technical Specialist, Data and Information at the OECS Commission, Ms. Malika Thompson, Communications Specialist, OECS Commission, Ms. Marina Danielle, Senior Administrative Assistant, Mr. Ralmore Richardson, Regional Grants Coordinator, other members of the Education Development Management Unit and the OECS Commission by extension, Ms. Tracelyn Hamilton of Anguilla, Joy Ann Harrigan, Antigua and Barbuda, Afia Smith of the British Virgin Islands, Mrs. Octavia Timothy of Dominica, Jeneline St. John of Grenada, Dale St. Just, St. Lucia, Charmaine Blanchette of St. Kitts and Nevis, and Miss Netta Thomas of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, as well as our OECS Pearl National Coordinators who are on this afternoon, Mrs. Charlene White Christian, Dr. Astra Mackenzie, Ms. Sophia Edwards Gabriel, and Mr. Vivian Cook. Dr. Chris T. Almeida, our guest speaker, Ms. Roxanne Steele of Diversity and Ability, Dr. Josephine Claxton Richardson, Ms. Ronique Thaxter, Mr. Ellis Ogilvy, and Mr. Sylvester Dorr, as well as other officials of the Ministries of Education, graduates, friends, and family members of the graduates. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to all, and welcome to the graduation ceremony for the OECS Program for Educational Advancement and Relevant Learning, a program presented in collaboration with the Commonwealth of Learning. Thank you all of you for joining us and for being part of this important ceremony, which recognizes the efforts and successes of the graduates who participated in the program over the period March 15 to June 30, 2023. The Commonwealth of Learning program was in keeping with the goal of the OECS to develop and provide professional training to teachers and practitioners who interact with children with special education needs. The course incorporated the use and application of assistive tools to educate participants in the use of technology to enhance the learning of special education needs students and overcome barriers to their learning. And we must tell you that another significant objective of the program was simply to assist in raising awareness of special education needs and the importance of providing a more inclusive educational environment for our students and other stakeholders. So we congratulate our graduates for having successfully completed the program and look forward to sharing in their special moments of celebration over the next hour or so. Once again, welcome to all of you. And at this point, I'd like to welcome Ms. Afia Smith of the British Virgin Islands to deliver the invocation.
Good afternoon, each and every one of us viewing. Let's bow our heads in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for keeping us. We thank you for your many blessings that you bestowed upon us. We thank you, God, that for the students who have successfully completed this course of study. We thank you for the opportunity that even though we are in different locations, God, that we can gather together and celebrate the successes of our students. We thank you for the OECS and all the endeavors to enhance special education within our region. We pray for this ceremony this afternoon that it will run smoothly and everything will be done in decency and in order. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Thank you so much, Ms. Smith, for leading us in opening prayer. Thank you. Mr. Rafa Gordon is the project manager for the OECS Pearl program, and that is the program for educational advancement and relevant learning at the Education Management Unit of the OECS. And he will now deliver welcome remarks. Mr. Gordon.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. It is indeed a pleasure to address you today in this special moment of celebration. The area of special education is one that is dear to the hearts of many, and it is no exception of the OECS Commission. The attention to special education in the OECS is certainly something that we, within the OECS Program for Educational Advancement and Relevant Learning, take seriously. It is a testament to sensitivities to this area of education at both the regional and the national level. And so when the opportunity to curate and implement a course in assistive technologies became available to us, we jumped at the opportunity, and the member states were immediate in the expressions of keen interest to participate. Many of us are aware of the research from leading agencies like the World Health Organization and UNICEF, demonstrating that the return on investment for assistive technology is around 9 times what is spent. And when we talk education, we are talking about people's lives and how they can be impacted permanently. This becomes even more pronounced with special education. And the researchers referenced earlier found that assistive technologies can make the difference between failure or success in school, between a job or unemployment, between a life of opportunity or a life of dependency. And this is why the OECS Pearl, moving beyond the training that has been provided through the Commonwealth of Learning, will provide funding to purchase assistive technologies for students with special needs. I bring you greetings from the Director General of the OECS Commission, Dr. Didicus Jules, who is joining us today, as well as the Director of the Human and Social Division, Mrs. Cicera Simon, who is signed in. We warmly welcome you to this graduation ceremony for the course in assistive technologies for special education needs. We acknowledge the presence of our education leaders and other officials of the OECS Ministries of Education. We have with us Dr. Merritt Newman of the Commonwealth of Learning, who has graced us with her presence. We are pleased to have you with us, Dr. Newman, and we welcome as well our guest speaker, Christy Almeida of Autism Belize and the Ministry of Education in Belize. Our student representative, Faith Grant of Fairhall Government School in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, all of our graduates and specially invited guests, a warm Thursday afternoon welcome to all of you. Thanks for joining us in this special occasion, and we hope that you'll leave this ceremony with greater sensitivities, passions, and drive for assisting those with special education needs. Do enjoy the program.
Our thanks to Rafa Gordon for his remarks, which managed to provide just a slight overview of the program and a hint of how it is expected to improve the approaches of our teachers in the classroom to enhance the learning of our students with special education needs. Thank you so much. As part of our program this afternoon, we have a student panel discussion on the topic special education needs and assistive technologies. Our panelists are Ms. Josephine Claxton Richardson, Ms. Ronique Thaxter, and Mr. Ellis Ogilvie. The panel discussion brings together successful course participants to explore SEN, as well as the role, importance, and the benefit of the just completed course. The discussion is chaired by Malika Thompson-Senak, the communications specialist at the OECS Commission, and I now hand over to Mrs. Thompson-Senak.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Protocols already established. Welcome to this panel discussion on special education needs and assistive technologies. As this panel is being done in the virtual space, I wish to invite all panelists to please turn on your cameras as I introduce you. Thank you. Joining us today for our panel discussion is Ms. Ronique Thaxter. She is a young representative from Montserrat and an early childhood teacher. Also with us is Dr. Josephine Claxton Richardson, Director for the St. Kitts Spectrum Services Center. And rounding out our panel is Mr. Ellis Ogilvie, a special education teacher in Grenada with over 25 years of experience, and he's presently acting principal of the Resource Center for the Blind. Mr. Ogilvie, do join us with your camera, if you can. So, beginning with our panel discussion, Ms. Thaxter, Dr. Claxton Richardson, you've just completed this course. Can you give us an overview of the Assistive Technologies course and how this professional development positively benefits special education needs students? Dr. Claxton, your mic is muted, though we know that you are speaking. If you could start over, thank you.
Okay, so the course benefited students. Sorry, I got feedback. So the course greatly impacted the students. We were able to look at many areas, but in particular, I want to look at neurodiverse students. And with they have diverse neurological conditions such as autism spectrum disorder, ADHD, or specific learning disabilities, and often face various challenges in the classroom. So many of these students may encounter various challenges in the classroom, and some of the common difficulties they may face. Some of the sensory sensitivities, and so we looked at some of those things that they're hypersensitive or they're hyposensitive, and so the assistive technology can assist them in many ways. And so some might be, affected by the light, texture, or smells. So the course brought about a lot of discussion about how the assistive technology could assist with those students. We know that the students have like social interaction and communication difficulties. And so also they get support with those things. They find it challenging to form or sustain friendships. So we know that the technology can assist in those ways as well. Executive functioning for many students involves tasks of planning, organizing, managing time, prioritizing, and self-regulation. So neurodiverse students often face challenges in these areas, which can impact their ability to complete assignments, follow instructions, stay organized, and manage their time effectively. Information processing and learning differences. Neurodiverse students may process information differently, which can affect their ability to comprehend, retain, and recall information. They may require additional time to process information. They struggle with reading, comprehension, have difficulty with abstract concepts, or exhibit strengths in certain areas while struggling in others. Attention and focus. Students with neurodiverse, particularly those with ADHD, may experience difficulties with attention and focus. They may struggle to sustain attention during lectures or independent work, become easily distracted, or have trouble filtering out irrelevant stimuli in a busy classroom environment. We know that because of emotional regulation, some neurodiverse students may experience challenges in managing their emotions, leading to emotional dysregulation, anxiety, or meltdowns. And quick changes in routine or transitions or unexpected situations can trigger emotional response that affect their ability to engage in learning effectively. So how does assistive technology assist them in the classroom? Assistive technology can play a crucial role in supporting students with neurodiversity in their educational journey. Neurodiversity encompasses a range of conditions, including autism spectrum disorder, and like I said, the attention deficit. So some of the technology that would be good for the neurodiversity would be text-to-speech software. and it can assist students with dyslexia or other reading difficulties by reading aloud textbooks. We have a speech-to-text software. Also, students can dictate their thoughts or spoken responses, which are then converted into written text. This technology is helpful for students with dyslexia, attention deficit hyperactive disorder, or those who struggle with writing or typing. Then there's the graphic organizer, which they assist students with ADHD or executive functioning challenges by providing a structured framework for note-taking, brainstorming, and organizing ideas. You've also got the smart pens and mind mapping. These things are also good. Time and task apps. So these are some of the things that we looked at during the course, which are useful for our students. I think one of the things to bear in mind is that for some students, like students with ADHD, the noise cancelling headphones can be useful because sometimes the noise within the classrooms or in the environments may be difficult for them. So those things can actually help them. And also it can provide, you know, you've got tools that can provide visual and auditory stimuli, adaptive learning pathways, and interactive feedback. We have to remember that assistive technology should be personalized to meet the individual needs of each student. It's essential to involve the student, their parent, guardian, teachers, and relevant specialists in the selection and implementation of appropriate assistive technologies. Additionally, ongoing training and support should be provided to ensure students can effectively use and benefit from the chosen technologies. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Claxton Richardson. You made a very good point there, referring to how the assistive technologies, in particular the headphones, they're of great use to students with ADHD. Ms. Baxter, in terms of the social and emotional well-being of students, how, in your view, because you've been working with students as a special education educator, how do assistive technologies, adding on to what Dr. Claxton Richardson has shared in your experience with students, how do these assistive technologies help? And perhaps you can give us some examples coming out of the course of specific technologies, assistive technology tools that could be used for different students with SEN.
Good afternoon. Firstly, it is important to note that specific social and emotional needs related to assistive technologies may vary depending on students' individual strength, challenges, and specific assistive devices being used. Many students face challenges in communication and social interaction with the use of assistive technologies such as augmentative and alternative devices, communication apps, etc. Special needs students can improve their communication and social interaction skills. This allows them to communicate with peers, teachers, and family members a lot easier by improving their abilities to express themselves, engage in conversation, and build relationships. These technologies addresses their social issues and emotional issues. Teachers also play a crucial role in the development of special needs students' emotional and social well-being. They can use assistive technologies like text-to-speech tools and screen readers to promote inclusivity and reduce exclusion education activity. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Baxter. Open question to the panel. You mentioned inclusivity, and this is a very important issue. Of course, we've made significant strides in the region over the last 10 to 20 years. In your view, what role does the professional development for teachers in special education play in promoting this inclusivity in education, particularly as it results to equipping teachers, but also removing or helping to remove societal stigmas that may still linger?
Can you repeat that for me, please?
So looking at inclusivity in education, which is very important, and we've had significant improvements in the region over the last 10, even to 20 years. But we continue to strive towards inclusivity for special education needs. Now, we've just completed this professional development course in special education, specific to the assistive tools. So I was just wondering, because professional development is an ongoing, it's an ongoing thing, and certainly with the OECS pool, there is a significant focus on professional development for educators, special education teachers, and early childhood educators as well. So I was wondering how both of you panelists see the correlation between providing continuous professional development for special education needs instructors and how that helps to support inclusivity in particular.
In my opinion, teachers who deal with special needs students should have specialized knowledge and skills. There are programs that provide teachers with specialized skills and knowledge with regard to special education. These programs focuses on specific disabilities, implementing individualized education plans, adapting instructional strategies, and using assistive technologies effectively. As teachers gain these expertise in their area, they become better equipped to meet the diverse needs of students with special education needs.
Thank you. I'd like to think if we're talking about inclusivity, that it's a partnership and that all teachers should be trained within this area. I found that the tools of assistive technology can be, and a lot are quite free, so they can be rolled out. So all the teachers and teachers should be trained within this area so that they can actually assist students. As we know, there's many students within the classroom setting that have, within the regular classroom setting, a lot don't have to be in a special unit. And so if everybody's aware and everybody's trained within the area, and we work in partnership with the special schools as well as the regular classroom teachers, I think that's the way that we should be looking at inclusive education for all our students, so that they feel they're not just integrated into the classroom, but they're fully included, and the technology can help them to be fully included within the classroom setting if everybody's trained in this way and understands the technology and how it can be. And I think we have to realize that it has to be used for the individuals in a sensitive way. So knowing the needs of the students, like Ms. Thatcher said, looking at IEPs and the IEPs that are done specifically around the needs and what the students need and who helps them and where the assistance comes from.
Thank you, Dr. Thaxter, Ms. Thaxter and Dr. Claxton Richardson. And I think you both captured so beautifully how continuous professional development for educators and instructors and having the tools for special education needs students helps to promote inclusivity. This has been a rich panel discussion. I wish to thank both of you for your time. And this brings an end to our panel discussion. Do have a good afternoon, and we will return to the rest of the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much to our moderator as well as to our panelists for this insightful discussion and the perspectives offered on special education needs and the best practices. I hope we have all taken away some useful tidbits on enhancing our approaches in the classroom to ensure our special education students that they're accounted for and that we achieve the inclusivity in education that we are aiming for. I now invite you to view the following video titled From Disabilities to Abilities. It is a reflection on the course with a particular focus on issues associated with special education needs from the perspective of a visually impaired teacher. Do enjoy viewing.
I am Jessica Jacobi, a vision education support teacher and disability rights advocate. I work with students who are blind and visually impaired. I get to teach them Braille skills, assistive technology skills, as well as life skills. I assist them with their academics as well. And I also work with the families, providing some level of counseling or family support to ensure that they're able to accept and understand how to deal with the abilities of their children and seeing them as persons who have abilities rather than focusing on the disabilities. My experience with the course was very rewarding. I got not only to dig a little deeper into some of what I already knew, but there's a lot more that I did not know and I was able to learn and that I can share with other persons. As long as we take what we learned and put it into practice, it will be very valuable for us who have pursued the course, because we'll be able to really impact lives of our students, even to the point that some of them will become less dependent, and even with some of the technology, some of the things that are needed, some of the accommodation that is required now, such as using readers and scribes, these can be eliminated. It will not only assist us as teachers in making our work more meaningful, but it also assists the students, preparing them for the world of work in which they will have to fit in when they leave the education system. My vision is that in our education system, since we have many of the OECS countries, or if not all, have ratified the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities, as well as acceded to the Marrakesh Treaty and other treaties and conventions that are out there. And we are also working towards achieving the 2030 Sustainable Development Goals, that we change our mindset and allow persons with disabilities more opportunities to be able to, to fit properly into the education system. I have students who I went to school with who have said to me that being a student in my class or working with me, alongside me, has really impacted their lives and opened their minds to being more accepting to persons with disabilities. I would like the general public to embrace the concept of special education as being more than just children who are being taught basic things or just being brought to a place where they can live and breathe comfortably, but realize that now, especially with the assistive technology that we have been introduced to, that our students are more than that and are capable of so much more. I am sure that my colleagues who are graduating will agree with me that we are very thankful and grateful and appreciative of the opportunity afforded us by the OECS Commission, Commonwealth of Learning, as well as the Ministries of Education in our respective countries. It has truly been a remarkable experience where we have been able to learn, to share, and to grow.
Jessica Jacoby was just one of the 50 OECS special educators from 7 countries who benefited from training in assistive technologies for special education needs. The OECS Commission and the Commonwealth of Learning congratulate, celebrate, and commend the successful completion of this course.
Thanks to the OECS team for putting this lovely video together, and of course to our featured teacher, Ms. Jessica Jacoby of St. Lucia, for sharing her first-hand experience of teaching students and enhancing the learning experiences of students with special education needs. Thank you to all. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest speaker this afternoon is Dr. Christy Almeida of Belize. I invite Ms. Nadette Langford, who is the Senior Technical Specialist for Data and Information Education Development Management Unit of the OECS Commission, to formally introduce our guest speaker. Ms. Langford.
And good afternoon, and thank you, Ms. Durant. Christy Castello Almeida. Christy has spent her career working in the Caribbean. She has worked as the Public Relations Officer for the Ministry of National Security in Belize, lobbied for women's rights, organized conventions, recreation, and business trips for large corporate groups to Puerto Rico, worked as an event planner, and ran the British Virgin Islands Chamber of Commerce and Hotel Association. Christy has also been very passionate about helping others and giving back to whatever community she lived in. In 2009, when her son was diagnosed as an autistic, using her degree in communications and political science and her training in communication for behavioral impact, she became an active parent advocate and public speaker. She has been a leader for several parent organizations focused on support and inclusion of persons with disabilities, including the Jamaica Autism Support Association. In April 2020, she founded Autism Belize, the first special needs parent support and advocacy organization in Belize. In late 2021, she was hired as the Special Education Program Coordinator for the Ministry of Education, Culture, Science, and Technology. She's dedicated to making a real change for special needs families in Belize. This is a personal mission for her. With all that though, many know her simply as Mateo's mom, and that title will always be the most important one to her. Dr. Almeida.
Not a doctor, just Mateo's mom. The girl named Sugar, that's what I call my Mateo. He's 15, 6'1", and quite handsome. He knows it too. One of his favorite pastimes is looking at himself in the mirror. His second is slamming doors, but he's a teenager, so I guess I should expect that one. He also loves water and just about any water sport. He's a little devious, generally happy, and addicted to YouTube. He's also autistic, intellectually impaired, and nonverbal. He also has a sensory processing disorder, and I can go on. He developed normally, met all his milestones. He said mama, he said dada. We had a dog named Cognac, and he would walk around chasing the dog, saying cat, cat, cat. And people would laugh, thinking he's calling the dog cat. That all changed around 16 months when he lost his word. By 21 months, after numerous doctor visits and tests, I had an official diagnosis. He started speech therapy before he was 2 years old. We tried signs. This started out well. You know, we got the thank you and the book until we thought him more. After that, we were stuck. Mateo, what do you want? More. Mateo, where you're going? More. Mateo, why are you upset? More. It was frustrating. We then tried PECS, picture exchange communication. Once again, kind of picked up on this. But do you know how many binders and laminating cards that ended up in the pool, in the sea, in the shower? Remember I told you loved water? Well, PECS was not easy considering we were traveling a lot and Mateo couldn't stay away from water. So around 5 years old, we introduced an AAC app on his iPad. All of a sudden, my tantruming, mercurial child could tell me, I want pizza. I need bathroom. It wasn't just about entering a phase, another level of picture exchange. Somehow for him, this was about opening a whole new world. Honestly, it was like building a ramp into Disney World for someone in a wheelchair. Except for my child, who's obsessed with Mickey Mouse, this was amazing. Now I have a teenager who still comes to me with his iPad to say, I want to go to the beach. But when I say, sorry, Teo, mommy's working, I can't right now, he says, using his app, I feel frustrated. Then 5 minutes later, he'll come back and say, guess who I like the most? Grandma, grandma, teenagers. The idea of building a ramp to open the door to a new world is exactly what assisted devices and technologies offer to persons with disabilities. Persons like my son, Mateo. So today, when I say congratulations, graduates, please know that I mean this in the sincerest of ways. Without people like you, I would never be able to know my son's sense of humor. He would never be able to have told me how he truly feels, even if that means he's telling me he doesn't love me at that moment. What you have studied to do, and I hope plan to go out to your various communities to do, is nothing short of amazing to a mom like me. Chad Boseman, the original Black Panther, once said, Your purpose is the reason you are on this planet at this particular time in history. Your very existence is wrapped up in things you are here to fulfill. Not just anyone can work with persons with disabilities. It's not just about knowledge and training. When you work with persons with disabilities, you are working most times with our most vulnerable population. This takes more than just knowledge, training, and equipment. It also takes heart and compassion. It takes a special type of person. The fact that you have chosen to do this, to fulfill your reason for being, your purpose in history, is not something that anyone watching should take lightly. This was not the easiest path for you to choose, but on those hard days, I hope you remember Chad Boseman's words and know this is your purpose. This is more than just a career. You are helping to build these ramps to amazing places. Also, an exciting time to be working in this field, because after much advocating and pressure, it seems finally special education and disability inclusion is on the national agenda in the Caribbean. As part of my job of working with the Ministry of Education, Culture, Science, and Technology, I've spent the last couple days at the Caribbean Development Bank Regional Validation Workshop on Model Regional SEN Inclusive Education Policy and Strategy. Countries in this region have come together to discuss developing and/or updating existing policies to ensure we are truly promoting inclusion in schools, taking into account the value of assisted technology and ensuring that all stakeholders understand their roles. An ILO study showed that excluding persons with disabilities from the workforce costs countries an average of 3 to 7% of their GDP. This is hundreds of millions of dollars. So putting disability inclusion on the agenda is not just a social issue. In Belize, we were able to negotiate an MOU with a company in Chicago to send occupational therapists, speech therapists, and behavior therapists to live and work in Belize for 6 months at a time. Through this partnership with Therapy Adventures, for the first time, we've been able to provide consistent therapies to some of our kiddos. We were also able to hold our first ever special needs summer camp. This is important work that we do to try to build an inclusive society. It might seem like a task for giants. Together though, in partnerships like that, we can fulfill our purpose for being. We can build ramps for amazing places for our most vulnerable people. We just need to stay focused on the goal and work together. Graduates, thank you. Thank you once again for the work you are about to embark on. I wish you tremendous success. Congratulations.
Dr. Almeida, we thank you so much for your remarks
Not
based on
the
your, my bad. Mateo's mom. Thank you so much for your remarks based on your personal experience with Mateo. I'm quite certain our graduates and all present have gained a bit more awareness on this matter, especially as relates to autism and the importance of ensuring that each child gets equal opportunity to access our respective curricula. And we did note your focus on the importance of our teachers' work helping children with special needs, as well as the importance of placing emphasis on special education and putting it high on the priority list of regional government. So thank you so much for your presentation this afternoon. Faith Grant, a student of Fair Hall Government School in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, will now present a poem entitled The Moon. And I invite Ms. Netta Thomas, she's the Education Officer for Special Education in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, to introduce Ms. Grant. All right, if we don't have Ms. Thomas with us, can we move right along to the poem from Faith Grant, a student of Fair Hall Government School in St. Vincent? Probably we'll hear from our St. Vincent guests later on in the program. Oh, yes, Faith.
Moon by Robert Louis Stevenson. The moon has a face like the clock in the hall. She shines on thieves on the garden wall, on streets and fields and harbor keys, and birdies asleep in the forks of the trees. The squalling cat and the squeaking mouse, the howling dog by the door of the house, the bat that lies in bed at noon, all love to be out by the light of the moon. But all the things that belong to the day cuddle to sleep to be out of her way, and flowers and children close their eyes till up in the morning the sun shall arise.
Oh, so ladies and gentlemen, you must have missed everything I just said. What I did was thank Faith from the Fair Hall Government School in St. Vincent for her beautiful poem, which I said was presented in the clearest of tones, and we commend her for that presentation. And of course, at this point, we've come to the highlight of our program, one might say, the presentation of the graduates, and this will be done in a video presentation format. For that, I hand over to Malaika Thompson-Sena.
Joanne Harrigan, Ayana Shadrach, Jasvinda Warner, Magdalene A.O. Allister, Dr. Carlin Benjamin Raymore, Cutlin Butler, Jan Christopher, Indy Stevens de Leon, Levia Freeman Malone, Tamika George, Ricolette Johnson, Jillian Niles John, Afia Smith, Naomi Abraham, Vida Corette George, Octavia Timothy, Nicola Clement, Anne-Marie Codrington, Arshel English, Lynette Isaac, Desiree John Belfon, Erica N. Lewis, Ellis Ogilvy, Jamal Phillip, Derica Samuel, Agnes Jennylyn St. John John, Nikisha Sylvester, Raydonna Wilkinson, Rhonda Wintz, Dr. Josephine Claxton Richardson, Sylvester Dorr, Jacqueline Lewis Bassieu, Kristen Springett, Adriana Flavius Boston, Vera Danielle Camsell, Vina Fusha, Eustacia Felicien, Jessica Jacoby, Kasim Lansico, Tanya Louis, Vanessa Minal, Chantal Prosper, Hester St. Clair, Dale St. Just, Troy Archibald, Chioniso Baptiste, Kathleen Butler, Kamisha Haynes, Kamisha Ince, Junie Scott, Netta Thomas.
Congratulations, graduates.
Thank you to Malaika, and I ask all of you to join in within your own virtual space in your own quiet way as we extend congratulations to all our course participants who graduated today. They have done well, and we look forward to the work they will do in their respective territories to support special education needs. Congratulations to all. At this point, I'd like to welcome Dr. Didacus Jules. He's the Director General of the OECS, and he will now offer congratulatory remarks to the graduates.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can.
Okay, thanks. All protocols being observed, but special welcome to our colleagues from COL, the lecturers on this program, as well as all of the participants. In all civilizations, education is invariably seen as a core responsibility of the state, regardless of its ideological, political, or organizational construction. One way in which we can assess how committed a society or civilization is to leaving no one behind is the extent to which special education is taken seriously. Special education is an area that requires astuteness, deep empathy, as we've heard from Dr. Almeida, and a commitment to social justice. It is an area that raises questions of equity and inclusion, with an understanding that those who need more should get more. The commitment that we make to this area of education says a lot about the humanity of our society. It therefore provides great comfort and reassurance to note the increased attention to special education needs in recent times in the region. The OECS Project for Educational Advancement and Relevant Learning, PEARL, Its attention to special education needs is a direct response to the advocacy from OECS Ministries of Education to provide training and resources to better serve the underserved in our region. The pool will provide job-embedded, continuous quality professional development to support both mainstream and special education teachers in meeting the special education needs of students. And we are eager for that intervention. In fact, I may add that the emphasis on both mainstream and special ed is deliberate because even teachers dealing with mainstream students can benefit from the methodology and the pedagogy and the sensitivity of special education pedagogy. We want to take the opportunity of this celebratory moment to thank the Commonwealth of Learning for partnering with the OECS Commission to train OECS educators in learning about and utilizing assistive technologies for special education. And in fact, our guest lecture spoke eloquently to the value of assistive technology from a totally biographical perspective. It is fashionable now to believe, however, that every significant innovation must be a high-tech and sometimes unaffordable solution. But as we've often maintained, innovation can be no-tech, low-tech, or high-tech. It is especially noteworthy that the training delivered was in low-cost technologies, because it means that we can do more now, and in the interventions that we are about to make through the pool will be much more sustainable. I want to spotlight the special education champions who are graduating from this course today. Your zeal for special education speaks volumes of your character. It is not uncommon for advocates of special education to have loved ones with special needs or to themselves have special needs. That makes your calls for equity and inclusion even more impassioned and authentic. It also makes your success on this course all the more beautiful. The matter of inclusion, though, is a contentious one. While it is ideal, the resources available may not be best to be able to accommodate it. However, where it is feasible, we understand the value of an unadulterated learning experience in real classrooms and real schools that prepares those with special needs for the real world. Your new learning, strengthened by the use of assistive technologies, takes us closer to the goal of meaningful inclusion. We urge you to use that knowledge and generate even more learning for yourselves and your students. Keep your voices strong and clear. The OECS Commission will provide support for advocacy, resource mobilization, policy development, and general awareness building. We commend you and congratulate you on your accomplishment. All the best to all of you, and thank you for your commitment.
Thanks to Dr. Jules for joining us and for his kind words of support of our graduates and their work in our schools across the region, as well as his emphasis on giving due attention to special education in our respective territories. So thank you so much, Dr. Jules. Dr. Mayret Newman is the education specialist at the Commonwealth of Learning. They've been our most valuable partners in the delivery of this course, and she now joins us to deliver remarks. Dr. Newman.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and protocols already established. Greetings from the Commonwealth of Learning in Vancouver, Canada. It's a real pleasure to be part of this hybrid graduation, which marks a very important milestone in the COL OECS shared effort to build a more inclusive world. And in particular, I would like to recognize and congratulate these special education teachers and the educators with us today. Firstly, for stepping up and choosing to engage in professional learning during what is a notoriously busy term in the school year. And secondly, not just completing the training, but actually excelling, all of them. Support for learners with disabilities and their teachers has long been a neglected area. UNESCO's GEM report indicates that children with disabilities are less likely to complete primary and secondary education compared to their peers without disabilities. UNDP, IDP, and recent OECS data for the Caribbean bear this out. Among the many challenges that learners with disabilities face is inadequate access to technology. WHO estimates are that only 1 in 10 persons with disabilities in developing countries have access to the assistive technologies that they need. Both CAL and the OECS want to change this picture. So training teachers to select and use appropriate assistive technologies is a step in the right direction. And some of the features of this training that I would like to highlight just for a few moments are, first of all, its inclusive design. This training is suitable for mainstream and special ed teachers and teachers with disabilities. Secondly, the training is solutions focused. It introduces teachers to an array of technologies, each of which can be tailored to support individual learners. And thirdly, it is practical, for it focuses on technologies that are accessible and affordable and that don't widen existing inequalities. The project has been made possible because of a very productive partnership that the Commonwealth of Learning and the OECS have forged. And partnerships flourish when they share common objectives and values. And I'd like to thank Mr. Rayford Gordon and his team for their very hard work and commitment to the project. I also want to acknowledge Diversity and Ability UK, without whose expertise these proceedings might not even be happening. In closing, I once again congratulate those of you who have graduated today. Please don't stop here. Apply what you've learned, share your new knowledge and skills with your colleagues, continue learning, and above all, nourish what Dr. Almeida described as your heart and your passion, because together we can create a more inclusive world. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Newman, for your remarks and your insight on special education, and of course, for the invaluable support provided by the Commonwealth of Learning to the OECS in the execution of this program. We also have with us Ms. Roseanne Steele. She's part of the team who developed and implemented the course in assistive technologies for special education needs, diversity and ability. And she will now share some congratulatory remarks with us.
Absolutely. Can I first of all say thank you to everyone for allowing me to be in this space. It has been probably one of the most impactful graduation ceremonies I have ever attended. And it's great to see that actually technology and assistive technology has enabled me to be with you today. I am here on behalf of DNA to thank and congratulate all of our graduates today. And honestly, we cannot thank you enough for not only your commitment throughout the course, but your ongoing commitment once this course is over, to your own development, to your colleagues' development, and more importantly, to creating that inclusive learning space for all students, regardless of needs, breaking down those barriers that they may have in the classroom, normalizing assistive technology and supporting them to be able to access assistive technology. And for what I find one of the most important things is hopefully really creating that mindset that they are going to take through life, that is going to support them through education, through the workplace, and in social situations, which acknowledges that assistive technology is available and is an asset and will enable them to bring their skills and their full self in an authentic, accessible, inclusive way, regardless of where they are in life. I cannot express how important and impactful this training will be to have available within your country. in regards to the impact. You may see it on a daily basis, you may see it on a monthly basis, you may never see it at all. But honestly, having access to assistive technology and this training and having a space or people that are willing and able to have these conversations are more impactful than you know, and they will last individuals a lifetime. So we honestly can't thank you enough for your commitment, and we are excited to see and hear about the development within your areas. So please do keep in touch. Massive congratulations and our deepest thank you from DNA.
Thank you, Ms. Steele, for your congratulatory remarks, for your role as a facilitator during the course of the program, and of course, for the work done by Diversity and Ability to develop the course content. Thank you so very much for being with us this afternoon. Our final presentation is an animated video on inclusive education and the importance of valuing all people with special education needs. The video is titled "The Vision for OECS Special Education."
So the science group needs 3 members. Who should we choose? I was thinking about Brenda Lynn. Why? Yo, Brenda is on a wheelchair. That girl will keep us back when we have to go out to do our research. So you want to deprive her of being in a group just because you feel she has special needs? Yo, I was just saying that having special needs doesn't mean that she cannot contribute to our group. What she can contribute is still valuable.
It is crucial for us to understand and respect people with special needs. Every individual deserves equal treatment. We are all unique in our own ways, and that is what makes our world so beautifully diverse. Let's embrace our differences, show kindness, and offer support to those who need it. Inclusive education benefits all, socially and economically. Special education requires special people to make special decisions, especially you. Children with disabilities are more likely to be marginalized. Let's protect and nurture them. Children with disabilities are less likely to attend and complete primary school. Let's look out for them. Disability creates disabilities and disadvantage. Let's counter these with the right support. Inclusive education fosters a culture of respect and belonging. Congratulations to all you OECS educators who have successfully completed the course in Assistive Technologies for Special Education Needs. Kudos to you for being a special person, paying special attention to our children with special needs. Keep the fire burning. By treating people with special needs with respect, we build a society that celebrates diversity and ensures that everyone has an equal opportunity to shine and thrive.
Thank you so much. I couldn't think of a more fitting conclusion to remind us of the need to provide support, continuous support, and ensure access to inclusive education for all our children in all our territories. So as we wind down our ceremony, I now call on Mr. Sylvester Dorr of St. Kitts St. Nevis to deliver the vote of thanks.
Sure. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It has indeed been a wonderful ceremony, and I deem it a pleasure and a privilege to extend a heartfelt vote of thanks to everyone who has contributed to the success of this remarkable graduation ceremony. Today, we celebrate the accomplishments of a group of exceptional individuals who have worked tirelessly to overcome challenges and to reach new heights. We extend our deepest appreciation to Ms. Netta Thomas, for delivering a truly inspiring invocation, setting the tone for this memorable occasion. A special thank you also goes out to Mr. Raphael Gordon, Project Manager of OECS Pearl EDMU, for delivering the warm welcome remarks. Thank you. We would also like to extend our gratitude to the members of the student panel discussion, Mrs. Josephine Claxton Richardson, Mr. Ronique Taxter, and Ms. Ellis Ogilvy. Your thoughts, your insights, your personal experiences have shed light on the significance of assistive technologies and the incredible potential of individuals with special needs. Our deepest appreciation goes out to our esteemed guest speaker, Ms. Christy Almeida, for sharing your inspirational journey from disabilities to abilities. And I see persons in the chat saying how they were even blessed by such a presentation. Thank you. Your resilience, your determination, and the success serve as a beacon of hope for all of our graduates. We would also like to express our gratitude to Dr. Didicus Jules, Director General of the OECS Commission, and the representative of the Commonwealth of Learning for their congratulatory remarks. Thank you so much. Our thanks go out to the OECS Commission for facilitating this fantastic opportunity that we received. It was indeed great. Special appreciation is expressed to the Commonwealth of Learning for providing technical and financial support for the training course that benefited some 50 of us as OECS educators. Thank you so much. We acknowledge with appreciation as well the support of the OECS Ministries of Education, who made it possible for us to participate in the training. Honorable mention is made of the country special education needs focal points who drove the work at the national level. We thank Mr. Keith Glasgow, who from time and time again would send out those emails, and Ms. Karen Renee, who helped with course coordination and platform management and kept us urging towards the continued, or rather kept urging us to continue to the end. Thank you so much. I further wish to thank all relatives and friends for your dedication, resources, collaborative efforts, which have made a significant impact on our lives and the community at large. And finally, we extend our heartfelt thanks to the organizations and the agencies that came together and contributed to the vision for OECS special education. I mentioned Global Partnership for Education and representatives from the consultancy firm, Diversity and Ability. And in conclusion, let us remember that today is not only a celebration of achievements, but also a reminder of the limitless potential within each and every one of us. Let us continue to support and to empower each other as we embark on the future endeavors. Thank you once again to everyone who has played a part in making this graduation ceremony a resounding success. May your contributions continue to create a more inclusive and compassionate society for all. Thank you, and have a wonderful afternoon to each and every one of you.
Thank you, Mr. Dorr, for giving the word of thanks and for the efficient manner in which you did so. We do appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our program, and I wish to thank all of you for joining on to celebrate with our graduates. We wish them the very best as they continue with their teaching careers, and we look forward to the stories of their best practices and the successes with our special needs students in classrooms, in schools across all participating territories. Once again, congratulations to all the graduates, and thank you everyone for being with us. Good afternoon, and do enjoy the rest of your evening.